Hello guys and welcome back to another UCL Fantasy video. Today I have prepared for you a wildcard team for the upcoming quarterfinals Matchday 13 because I think this is one of the last moments where you can activate the wildcard and it would make sense. Of course you can keep it for the semifinals for some big surprises, but still I think you'll be able to adjust the team with several moves regardless. But now a lot of injuries are on the horizon, and for you to pick the best possible team and to adjust those injured players, I think you'll be good with activating the wildcard team, as the semifinals are not that far away compared to what was the round of 16 to the quarterfinals. Then I'm going to analyze the fixtures firstly and then present to you the wildcard team. If you want to support me and show your appreciation, please click that subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 3.3k before the start of the quarterfinals. Let's see if that's possible. We are 50 people away, so with your help I believe that everything is doable and we can do it together. Of course, 5k is the big target, but let's start small with 3.3k. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the fixture analysis. Here are the fixtures. Most of you already know them, most of you already seen them, most of you already heard about them from me, but I want to point it out once again and what I think about those moves with the latest information I have at the moment of recording. First of all, starting with Arsenal Real Madrid, this game will see, I think, a lot of goals. Both teams have not been performing, especially Real Madrid not have been performing very well in the defensive department as of recent. They just lost to Valencia in La Liga at Santiago Bernabeu, and I think their full focus will now switch to the Champions League, as I don't see Barcelona losing the title this year in La Liga. That would mean that they will go full speed ahead, but with two injured goalkeepers, Lunin and Courtois are injured, I think that Arsenal can score some goals, and with the return of Bukayo Saka, I think they can score some of them of their own. Of course, Real Madrid have the possibility to score goals, and they can catch everyone on the counter-attack with the paced forwards of Rodrigo, Mbappe and Vini Jr., with the special deliveries from Bellingham, Modric and etc. In defensive department, Real Madrid will have Alaba and Rudiger all together. Fran Garcia will be on the left. On the right, probably Vasquez will start. In goal, it's a Fernandes guy, I think, or Hernandez, something like that. But yeah, I will not go there as soon as like ever. Tchouaméni may be dropping into the midfield this time around. We'll see how Real Madrid will line up, but we'll know the starting lineup, so don't do anything, don't confirm anything before the lineups are out, because we will have the benefit of knowing who starts and who doesn't. Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. Lisandro Martinez returned to the start, not Lisandro, Lautaro Martinez returned to the starting lineup for Inter Milan during the weekend, while in Bayern Munich's side, Musiala is now out for the Inter's fixture, and he joins Upamecano, Davies, Neuer in the long list of starting players that will miss the game. This will leave the room to players like Coman, Gnabry, Olise, maybe Müller will play sometime around, but I feel like Olise will be playing in the 10 and will be performing very well in that Inter Milan fixture. From Inter Milan perspective, Dumfries is still out, so a reasonable change will be to go to either Di Marco or Darmian, depending on who starts in that fixture. We will, of course, once again see the lineup and we'll know who will be playing and who will be benched, so we can have the most proper adjustments into the side. Moving into Wednesday, Barcelona versus Dortmund. Guirassy returned for Dortmund, so he will be starting against Barcelona during on Wednesday. He even scored a goal, so I think they are in good hands. Barcelona haven't played yet, so I don't know what's going to be the situation there and who is going to be injured or out, because I will reflect on that on my team selection and final tips video, so don't worry about that at all. And Paris Saint-Germain versus Aston Villa. At the time of recording, Aston Villa are playing and PSG are playing, so we'll see who will leave the game unscathed, and then we'll record the part where we see what we go with to do with the players. But they are all on Wednesday, and we have the benefit once again to know the lineups before kickoff, so there is not going to be any shenanigans. Is this player starting? What do you think? Who is rested? Who is not? We will know all the 8 lineups before kickoffs at every day, and 4 of them will be known for us before even the game week starts. So I think that's a very good thing to discuss. I think Barcelona, PSG, Inter and Real Madrid are going to move forward. Of course, teams can surprise us, and if I was on a wild card, I would be diversifying for sure, as I don't think it will be worth going into different directions and just nailing it down on a player. I think with 5 transfers before the semifinals and 3 before the second leg of the quarterfinals, you can adjust the team accordingly to the sides that are winning and just sell everyone that is going to go out. So I think we're in a good position, and let's go now and see how the lineups look and what I will be cooking for that wildcard selection video. Currently on the screen you're seeing my team at the moment, and I've already started preparing with the goalkeepers. So everyone that you see there, that's my team at the moment, so don't take it into consideration for now. Going into my goalkeepers position, I will be starting with Sommer and Donnarumma. I think that they are the perfect pair to go out right now. Even though this may seem like an unreasonable thing to sell Raya, because Real Madrid have been awful, I still think that Sommer and Donnarumma are very likely to go through. And if they go through, I will be having goalkeepers for the foreseeable future, of course. There are some other options. You can go for Szczesny, you can go for to keep Raya and sell Sommer and then get a keeper from the other day. But I really do believe that this is the best combination. There isn't an easy fixture anymore. But if form and team quality suggest something, it is that PSG are better than Aston Villa, and in that sense I think that they are a very, very good team to invest in and to take into consideration. Both keepers are still good. PSG that just won the title, so I think you will have a very, very solid day of going with them and yeah, keeping him at bay. So yeah, don't get too complicated here. Just pick 2 keepers, whoever you think are Sommer or Raya versus Szczesny and Donnarumma. I think those are the best 2 options that you can go, 2 best couples you can go for. Personally, I will be choosing Sommer and Donnarumma. This is my defense for the wildcard suggestion. I think it's a little bit strange that you're seeing one player, but let's go one by one, step by step, and I will explain everything. Starting from left to right, I am relying on Hakimi. I think him and Nuno Mendes are an amazing option to pick from PSG. Pacho, Marquinhos, they're also good, but I will be relying most probably on the likes of Hakimi and Nuno Mendes if I go out and select them. Hakimi doesn't have anyone to replace him, so while on the other side Nuno Mendes can be backed by Luka Hernandez if let's say PSG trash Aston Villa like 5-6-0 and they go through after the first leg. But let's be real, it's going to be not that easy of a fixture, so probably both of them will be feasible options. But at the end of the day, I would say that Hakimi fits the bill perfectly for me. He has been the highest scoring defender and completely deserved so. So let's see how he operates against the likes of Rashford. Asensio probably on the other side is going to be Rodgers, who is going to be playing against Nuno Mendes, but still I think that Hakimi knows every trick of Asensio, as they have been playing together for a couple of years. So I would say here that Hakimi is a very, very solid option. I prefer him over center backs, as when they dominate the games, ball recoveries aren't flying left, right and center. So yeah. Going up next is Jules Koundé. This guy hasn't missed a game in like 2 years, and I don't think he will be benched here. He plays at the right back and cover in center back, so his coverage is amazing. Barcelona do face Dortmund, and it's on the 9th of April, so that's on Wednesday. You have coverage then, already 3 players for the second day. That gives me some options to rotate around and be completely fine with whatever happens on day 1. 9th of April, good date, and I prefer him over Baude, being Koundé, as he can be a threat from set pieces also. He's not as attacking as Baude is, but still Koundé I feel like a great option. Next up we go to Kim, Bayern Munich defender facing Inter Milan. Inter Milan have increased their goal scoring ratio, but still I do believe that Bayern are capable of keeping a clean sheet. If not, they play on the 8th of April and you can easily swap them with the players from the 9th, so it's not the end of the world if the Kim pick fails. He has not let me down so far this season has been playing very well, a very good shout from the start, and he scored a very important goal against PSG in the group stage. So maybe another goal against Inter Milan. Even though I own two defenders, they can get attacking returns, they can get saves. So at the end of the day, I do feel like him is an amazing option to have. Di Marco is the coverage for Inter Milan's wingbacks. I don't know if he will start, but we don't have to guess. On the 8th of April, we will know the starting lineup for Inter Milan, and I will be picking possibly the left wing back, as Dumfries is rumored to be back in for the second leg. I don't know how much time he will play, but if that's the case, I can return him safely into the lineup. But for now, I'll be opting for the left wing back. And Di Marco has been pretty solid. I think that he's a little bit rusty and is not the most amazing finisher, but still he gets into amazing positions and he can finish easily the chances that are getting ahead of them. The final player here is my non-reliable pick. I had a Discord member. By the way, if you want to hear more news and more advices from Discord people that are following different teams, you can follow me on Discord. It's completely for free. The link is down below and you can write in the UCL Fantasy chat. But yeah, I'm opting for Rafa Guerreiro because he had some game time in the number 10 position. And if he's used in the number 10 position as a defender, that can be a very good and tricky pick, of course. I think facing a 5-back and such a good side like Inter Milan, they can operate with more defensively minded players, even though in the 10 position, and behind him, let's say it's Kimmich and Goretzka or Kimmich and Paulinho, whoever it is. But still, I do believe that Guerreiro, if he starts as a CAM, so attacking mid, we will know that, and he not only may get an attacking return, but a clean sheet if it arises. So I'm willing to risk it. Of course, we have 3 transfers between the weeks, so I will be probably taking him out for the second leg as he is in day 2 of the match day 14 though. So yeah, I might not be willing to risk it there. But for now, if he starts as an attacking mid, why the hell not? What am I losing there? I'm looking for slim margins in order to gain up some rank. Let's see if it works out. Let's see if that decision is stupid. Of course, here I can pick Saliba. I can pick another PSG defender, but getting a third one limits my option up front. Then moving into other teams, I'm not a fan of Real Madrid, not a second Barcelona, not a Borussia Dortmund. So it's basically Guerreiro, a 13 Inter Milan defender, which is not very likely as I want to keep space for Dumfries, and probably Di Marco if they go through against Bayern Munich. Of course, Guerreiro then can leave for someone once again from PSG or some other team, but for now it will remain as that. For my wildcard draft, of course, we'll be monitoring on the deadline stream. We'll decide if Guerreiro is the pick to go for, or we can rely on the Saliba pick and just be done with it, and yeah, just get a boring Saliba pick. For now, this is the defense. I know it's a little bit controversial, but I like to split up some things and give my team a chance to go with a differential pick. As defenses look weaker and weaker, I think that we can get some cheeky returns from players that we do not expect to get any from. Going into midfield, I have several interesting pick to say, but nothing too differential. Starting with Dembele, he has been the best player so far in 2025, at least in my opinion. In UCL and in League 1, he has been tearing it up. He has been amazing. He is not on penalties, but still he has been involved in so many goals. And he was the scorer of them in most of the chances. Of course, Kvaratskhelia and Barkova helped that massively. Vitinha, Doe, Zemiri, they help a lot. But Dembele has been the man, like it was the talismanic players such as for example, Harry Kane from Bayern Munich. If you go to, for example, Inter, it has been Lautaro Martinez, Guirassy for Dortmund. You can say Vini or Mbappe for Real Madrid. That's the vital player for that team. It's Dembele. So I will be selecting him on the wild card for certainty. Then moving into Rafinha, he has Dortmund at home, so it's not a bad fixture. I would say the captain arms bunch is on him just because last week he was my captain, but of course that is due some changes as he plays on the second day. So on the first day another captain should be picked. Of course, if you're looking to change several things. Rafi here is not one of them. You should be selecting him if you want to pick more midfielders from Barcelona. I completely understand that. Pedri has been named man of the match twice in the round of 16, so he's an option. Yamal, of course, he is an option. Almost now injured, so he's not. Gavi, I wouldn't say so, nor Frankie de Jong, so it's Rafi, Pedri, or Yamal. You can go for several of them, but I'm picking Rafi. He's just the best player out there in that Barcelona side, in my personal opinion. Moving then into Ulisse now with Musiala's injury. Yes, Musiala is injured, for everyone that do not know that, and Musiala being out just makes Ulisse even more nailed. Sometimes he was used as a 10, sometimes as like a right midfielder. Right midfielder is his best position in my eyes, but you never know what company will cook. That's why I pick Guerrero and Ulisse here. Of course, Guerrero, as mentioned, can change pretty easily to Nuno Mendes, let's say, but for now I would say that Ulisse for the 8th of April is nailed in my team, and he's cheap, so if they struggle to score goals, at least my budget is not going into his blanks. The next player that I'll be opting for here is Bukayo Saka. He is an interesting pick because he just returned from injury. He was eased in 20 minutes in the first game, 45 in the second, and I now think he's ready for Real Madrid, and I think that he can play a vital role at if Arsenal do anything at all. I'm not going to select probably more players from Arsenal, as I don't know if they're going to continue forward, but even if they don't, Saka is only one player, so I can easily adjust. Still a very good player on penalties, on that right wing, on the counter, and yeah, Arsenal will be defending, and on the counter and on those set pieces, Saka can deliver. He's taking penalties, some free kicks, most of the corners from one side, so if they score a set piece, he will be on the one who delivers it in half of the situation. So I would say Saka looks very, very good for the direct replacement of Salah. Here in that position, you can go for someone like Bellingham, but they have been struggling. Of course, UCL is their tournament, and anything is possible for them there. Still, I want to diversify a little bit and pick Bukayo Saka. Here I'm opting for Vitinha, but I'm really wondering, should I go for him or for an Aston Villa player, because Vitinha is on penalties for PSG duty, and he has been getting some man of the match awards here and there because of his passing qualities, his attacking situations, his penalty taking, because if he takes a penalty he will most probably score it. So he's a good player, but I may go for Aston Villa. Emery is a very good tournament coach, and I don't think he will be losing that fixture easily. Of course, stacking up on 2 or 3 defenders from PSG and picking an Aston Villa attacker feels counterintuitive, but if for some reason Emery decides to cook and just takes out PSG out of the tournament, it will be for my expense, as I could not be able to afford to sell a lot of the players that are out at the moment. So yeah, I would say possibly this Vitinha spot is questionable, but for now, let's say on the wild card you go for Vitinha. Here you can go for someone like Adeyemi as an option, Yamal as mentioned. You can go for Bellingham if you have the money to go for him. More other PSG players, Asensio from Aston Villa is an option as well, but for now I really do believe that this is Vitinha's spot on a wild card. The final part of the equation is the forward line, and here I am opting for Barcelona, Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund players. So the only team that I haven't covered is Aston Villa, and this doesn't feel pretty alright, so possibly Vitinha's spot will be an Aston Villa player, but for now let's keep it that way. Mbappe gets ahead of Vini Jr. Vini has not been in amazing form, and I will be willing to just not get him into the squad. For me, yeah, Mbappe is just that good, and now it's Vini missing 2 penalties in a row. I feel like Mbappe is taking the next one. I don't know why, but quite possibly he will be the guy taking it. Up front, Lewandowski or Harry Kane was the big question, but I decided to go with another Barcelona player. I don't know what form Bayern will be without Upamecano, without Davis, without Musiala, without Neuer, and I already will be probably owning 3 Bayern Munich players, so adding a 4th one that just didn't suit me. Me owning only 2 Inter Milan players is even more counterintuitive, but as mentioned, with playing them with Bayern Munich playing on the 8th, I can easily swap them on the next run of fixtures with defenders that I think will go through, no matter who the defenders are, from Barcelona, from Real Madrid, from Arsenal, from PSG. But for now, I think I may take a risk on a wildcard, because why the hell we shouldn't do it. The final player here is Girassi. He's cheap, he's reliable. If Can is not on the field, he's on penalties. If Can is on the field, Girassi might be on penalties. So yeah, I like him. He's just back from an injury, but still he has been performing pretty alright during the season. 85 points in general, that's a very high tally compared to most of the players. If you go around and check, there aren't many with more points. And even though he hasn't returned in 2 games already, returning in 11 of 13 is a pretty high number, so I would bet he would get something in return. Against Barcelona last time around, he scored 2 goals against them, so I think it's a good candidate to start in my attack. Of course, Watkins and Rashford can be introduced here, especially Rashford, who got a bit of a rest during the weekend for Aston Villa. Then you can go for someone like Vini Jr., Rodrigo, Harry Kane, Lautaro Martinez. Am I missing someone? PSG do not have a forward, Arsenal do not have a forward, so those 2 teams are out. We have 3 teams here, and I mentioned 3 others, so yeah, those are the players that I'll be looking to get. But for sure, Girassi, Mbappe, and Lewandowski for now feel like the best options. Please post down in the comment section what you think about that wildcard draft. I know several of my viewers are still with wildcards. What have you guys cooked already? Can you share it down? Let's discuss it and let's see what differences you are going for. I'm opting for diversity, so Aston Villa player will probably go into the team, but for now it's out. So yeah, it's either Vitinha or Rodgers in my team, but for now it is Vitinha's spot to lose. I think that concludes the wildcard portion, because I cannot say anything more. This feels like a lot to my squad at the moment, so I don't feel out of it. Maybe I can adjust 1 player out and I can save him on my -4. As you can see, I'm currently on, so I feel pretty great. Please, yeah, put your opinion down, because it means the world to me. Before we leave, once again a special shout out to the members of the channel: Seth, Florin, Zach, Oscar, Papas, Kauzarhem, and Mitro. Thank you so much for becoming members of the channel. If you guys want to support me financially, me and my family will be very appreciative. There is a quick link in the description where you can become member. Here the prices in UK money, of course, in your currency. This may vary as those prices are adjusted. If you cannot afford to spend money, or you basically don't want to spend money, you can at least click that subscribe button. It will help me grow massively. Liking, commenting, sharing with your friends, everything works for me, as it promotes me to new people and the videos get more and more popular and helps me reach the target of 5k. I will be recording team selection and final tips videos, so stay tuned for more FPL content. Don't forget, and UCL Fantasy content, of course, mainly in the next couple of days. The 2 deadline streams will be coming your way, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.